is up, Ohio? Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new edition of the Broulis Beat Report. It's brought to you, as always, by Cafe 80s. If you're a person that loves 80s music, you really need to check out their actual website to find where they're going to be playing at a venue near you the next time they're playing. Their website is thecafe80s.net. You can find them on Facebook by simply typing in The Cafe 80s. Or if you have the Bands in Town app on your phone, if you don't already have it, I highly suggest that you download it. You can actually follow them on the Bands in Town app. Just type in Cafe 80s, and they'll actually send alerts to your phone letting you know when they're going to be close to you and playing, what time they're going to be playing, and you can actually kind of reserve a spot, so to speak. So, again, anyone loves 80s music, I highly recommend checking out their website and going out there and checking out Cafe 80s. They're a really good 80s tribute band. Well, this is a good week. This is Super Bowl week, of course, as many of you know. And I'm not going to give you my Super Bowl prediction yet. You're going to have to wait until later on in the week to get my Super Bowl prediction out of me. It's kind of like my teaser for you. But I told you guys last week on the Broulis Beat Report that I'm sure most of you have heard of Mel Kiper's big board for the NFL draft and the players that are coming out. And I kind of tweaked it a little bit and told you that I have two whiteboards at home that I kind of help me keep track of my, the important dates that I need to remember personally. And I call my Broulis big boards 1 and 2. Well, to start the show out from here on out, I'm going to give you guys the days in which the important countdowns are that I have listed at home. So without further ado, let's get right to it. The NFL draft is 87 days away. Indian spring training, meaning the pitchers and catchers report, in 15 days. So anybody that doesn't like this cold winter weather kind of gives you some hope in the heart as to how close spring's going to be. It's not too far away, and ironically, spring is 49 days away, and this having nothing to do with sports whatsoever. Those of you that know me off air personally very well know how much I love Cedar Point. It will be opening up in 96 days. So there are my important countdowns. And I should have it on there, but I don't. The NBA trading deadline is coming up shortly in February, so I'm having to keep a track of the free agents that the Cavs could possibly go after. Now, with that being said, let's jump right into the Cleveland Cavaliers. And last Monday lost 122 to 124 to New Orleans. That was the game that I felt that they should have won, but they didn't. And then Wednesday, they went into overtime, but still lost 116 to 112 to the Sacramento Kings. They couldn't stop DeMarcus Cousins, and he's just a load, period. He's, in my opinion, he's definitely a top 5, if not for sure a top 10 NBA overall player. But again, they should have won that game. Sacramento is not that good of a team. And then Friday rolls around, and the Cavaliers are in desperate need of a win. So they finally get back in the win column with a 124 to 116 win over the Brooklyn Nets. And then the Sunday showcase game, they won 107 to 91 over Oklahoma City Thunder. That was actually a pretty good game for a little while, and then Cleveland just flexed their muscles in the second half of the game. So now upcoming this week, tonight they have a game in Dallas. If you remember when Dallas was here earlier this year, they destroyed the Mavericks at the Q. Wednesday, they host the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then to round the week off, it is Saturday. They head to the Big Apple to play against the New York Knicks. And by the way, real quick before I get to my all-star snub, I have to say this. With the situation going on with the trade situation, I do not think that it is a smart move for the Cavs to trade straight up Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony. The Cavaliers already have two really good isolation players in Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. They do not need a third. In my opinion, they just need a solid backup point guard behind Kyrie Irving. And I'd love to see them go after Tyson Chandler if he is bought out by the Phoenix Suns here soon. I think that would really help them out. And, of course, they need to be healthy And I think that's what actually give them a good favorable matchup against the Golden State Warriors, assuming that they do reach the NBA Finals, and I'm also assuming that the Warriors get there as well. Now, on to the All-Star roster snub. I like the NBA All-Star rosters for the most part, but the one that did bother me was the fact that they did not put Joel Embiid, the center for the Philadelphia 76ers, at least for the reserves. Instead, you put Paul Millsap in that roster? Come on, really? Paul Millsap? Joel Embiid? There's no doubt about it. I'm putting Joel Embiid in that spot over Paul Millsap. Now, switching to the NFL. I don't know about any of you guys, but I did not watch the Pro Bowl last night. It just brings no interest to me whatsoever. But just for the record, the AFC did beat the NFC 20-13. Now, some other NFL news to give to you. The San Francisco 49ers hired John Lynch. The Arizona Cardinals hired Byron Leftwich as their new QB coach. The New York Jets brought in Hall of Fame linebacker Kevin Green to coach their linebacking core, which I think is a very smart move. Gus Bradley will be the new defensive coordinator for the now Los Angeles Chargers. And, again, I'm not going to give you my pick for the Super Bowl until the next show. Now, going to Major League Baseball. There was a small signing, but it's a pretty significant signing, if you ask me, for the Kansas City Royals. They do have quite a few players that can possibly leave the team after this year. Now, if you remember, Kansas City's had a pretty good run over the last 3 or 4 years, but they've had some very good young talent behind that, obviously. Now, they've got the likes of Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, Gerard Dyson, players like that have the possibility of going elsewhere. Well, they made a signing in Brandon Moss. He signed a 2-year deal with Kansas City. So, in my opinion, when it comes to the AL Central, I obviously favor the Cleveland Indians to win the AL Central. It's not even close, in my opinion. They've got one of the top 3, if not top 5, starting rotations in all of baseball. And it goes without saying that bullpen is extremely dominant, in my opinion. And now, after they signed Edwin Encarnacion to that 3-year, $65 million deal, that lineup is extremely potent, and the easiest batters are going to be in the bottom third of the lineup. And if Michael Brantley comes back, even at 75%, you can imagine how good this Cleveland Indians lineup from 1 to 9 is going to be. Now, with that being said, I don't see the Minnesota Twins being a contender. Clearly, the Chicago White Sox are in rebuild mode. You wonder about what the Detroit Tigers will be doing because they have a lot of payroll. They got a lot of players that they're not sure if they're going to have a great year or not. So they like the Kansas City Royals are going to be one of those teams in that situation come July 31st. Are we a buyer or a seller? Are we going to be able to make a wild card? What's the situation going to be going on? So with that being said, I think it was a good sign for Kansas City. And the AL Central, I don't think it's up for grabs this year unless at least one of those teams surprises me. I can't take the Twins serious. I can't take the White Sox serious. I'm not sure about the Tigers, and I'm not sure about the Royals either. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the Canton Charge. They have a record of 16-11. That's third in the Central for the NBA D-League. They won Sunday at the Westchester Knicks, 118-108. And then they hosted the Maine Red Claws on Wednesday and won 106-98. And they also defeated the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, 124-115 this past Saturday. So the Canton Charge are looking pretty good so far this year. Now, before we get to the end of the show, I do want to let all of you exercise and health and fitness freaks out there know that I have partnered with swolesports.com. You need to check out their website. If you're someone that's trying to get in shape in 2017 or, possibly diet better, you really need to check out swolesports.com. They have a lot of supplements there, whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight or just whatever the case may be. Check out swolesports.com. I highly encourage it. I think that their products will definitely help you out. Well, that does it for this edition of the Broulis Beat Report. My name is Nick Broulis. Have a great week.